Devin, you just want to just introduce what we're going to be talking about today, the first three parts, and just give us the agenda items, and then we'll go back to the top and we'll dive in and we'll have a full audience by then.
Sure. So today for this month's meeting, as usual, we're going to start with kind of a broad marketing topic that we will discuss, give some examples, and of course, we welcome your questions. So if you have questions during that or any point, feel free to let us know so we can, get those answered. But we're going to start kind of broadly talking about drip marketing today and why that works, what that is, give some examples of real advisors who have done this and success stories around that. Then part two, we move into kind of our master member advisor client specific marketing activities for the month. So we'll be talking about what to do in April and May, because we also want to look forward to the next month as well. So you can be prepared for that. And then part three, we're going to answer any questions that again come in today, and then some questions we have on reserve from members that we've gotten in the past. So that's kind of where we're going to the roadmap for today's meeting with you all.
Okay, good. And as always, folks, let us know if you have any questions. There's normally a chat function nearby to put your question in front of us. But Devin, okay, let's go. Let's start with part one, the power of drip marketing. I'll throw it over to you.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. Defining drip marketing. A drip marketing campaign is basically when you take kind of pre-written communication pieces around a topic or multiple topics and send them out to your email list regularly. So this can be, articles that you have written, articles from your broker dealer, articles from us here at Horse's Mouth, can be built into a drip marketing campaign where, these emails automatically are going out to the people on your list. It's a way to stay in touch with your clients and your prospects on a regular basis. It's a way to stay top of mind with those prospects and constantly be in kind of some sort of communication with very little effort on your part, right? This is something that you can set up in advance. It can be, a year-long campaign, something where you decide, this is the piece that I'm going to send out January, February, March, April, and you set that up at the beginning of the year. And in addition to that, you can also set up kind of these mini drip campaigns. So say, 1 month you want to focus on retirement planning. You can send out, 4 different pieces on retirement planning, 1 a week for that month's tier list. And again, these are things that can be set up ahead of time with content that you already have. So you're kind of doing these easy communication touches in addition to all of the other layers of marketing that you're doing at the same time. It's great, if you're putting on educational events, if you can match those mini drip campaigns to the events that you're doing. So again, if you're putting on a social security event and then you have these social security pieces go out beforehand to, kind of market the event, and then even after as follow-up, those are great ways to be using these resources to kind of stay, again, top of mind and have those regular communication touches, because studies do show that advisors who do communicate with clients and prospects on a regular basis maintain more of their clients and are, obviously able to stay top of mind with those prospects for when, a decision point happens in their life and they're ready to take action. You're that advisor who's top of mind. And we actually have, Sean had recently interviewed an advisor who kind of this exactly happened to her. So Sean, if you want to talk about that story.
Yeah, thanks. Right now, there's a huge opportunity to educate the public about the Secure Act. It's been in the news. Basically, we call it the new retirement rules. And one of our master members named Kelly from the upstate New York, Rochester area, contacted us recently because she had some tremendous success. And it actually involved it involved several things that I think are, marketing items that advisors should be strongly considering now. It involved the Secure Act because it's been in the news. The new retirement rules are important to everyone. As you can see with Secure Act 2.0, there literally are things in there that are impacting practically every adult generation that's out there. And Kelly had Kelly decided, yes, the Secure Act is important. And she decided she wanted to put on a webinar where she would invite clients and prospects. She has an email list of around 600. Now, before I get into the results, I wanted to tell you that Kelly is has been for a while dripping people on her email list. She did some analysis of she sends content, she sends horse's mouth articles and other things to her email list on a regular basis. She looked at the list of 600 or so, and she was able to discover that there were about 60 or so people who really seemed to open up every email about any retirement related topic or taxes in retirement or Social Security. They open up the emails, they click through to her website, and they basically showed a certain amount of behavior in the data that separated them from the rest of the other people on the list who were getting this content on a regular basis. And so Kelly decided to pull those 60 names out of her list in a way and do a handwritten quarterly drip campaign. So you heard Devin say before drip marketing, and she used the phrase email. But the truth is that it doesn't have to be email. It says email is the most common tool. And there's tends to be a bias toward it. But Kelly actually took things a step further and decided that these 60 people, she would send a horse's mouth article reprint to each quarter. And she would attach a handwritten note in the envelope, and she would handwrite the envelope as well. And if she knew something about the individuals, like she had met them before, she would write a short little extra sentence or two that would indicate to the people receiving this drip marketing effort that, oh, Kelly really is writing this. It's not robo-written or anything like that. So Kelly's been dripping on her list, broadly for a long time. She's been going after these 60 people now, just I think since last fall. And they received their first one for this year, their first handwritten note attached to the article reprint. It was called the 5 Tax Gotchas in Retirement. And Kelly sent that article reprint out in January. Then last month, she started to plan to do a webinar on, because she's a master member, she has access to the Savvy IRA program. The latest thing in the Savvy IRA program is our new Secure Act presentation. And so she decided to put on a webinar and present this. And so she did. She sent it out to her email list. She had 43 people sign up for the webinar. She had 23 people actually come to the webinar. And when the webinar was over, she thought she was going to have a little bit of a breather time to, kick back 24 hours at least before she started making calls and doing her follow-up, as you always should do, whether it's a live event or a webinar. You really need to get on the follow-up pretty quickly. But what happened, she said, they ended the presentation, they closed out the screen, and within a minute, her phone was ringing. And her phone was ringing with a call from a particular person who she has been dripping on her email list for 9 years. 9 years, okay? And long story short, this guy says, I'm finally ready to act. Let's come in and get something going. And, within a couple of days, he'd come in, they'd started the account transfer, $1 million account. Kelly says to him, I'm the same person. When I met you 9 years ago at Edward Jones, sitting across the desk, I'm the same person now that I was then. What made the difference? What moved you to act on this after the webinar? And the guy looked at her and said, it was simple. It's the education. You gave me the education. And so, I'm going to put out a little more detail on this later on. But, Kelly is kind of a poster child for us right now, I'd say, our latest one, that drip marketing works. And Kelly makes the point in my interview with her that some advisors, she thinks, are dripping, dripping, dripping. They're not getting any response, so they lose patience and give up. But Kelly says you need to think about it through the mind and eyes of the people who are being dripped on, because what they're saying is, oh, Kelly's sending me something about this. Oh, she's sending me something about that. Kelly's really on it. As Kelly says, the people on her list that she's been dripping on, she's been dripping on them when the markets were bad. She's been dripping on them when the markets were good. She's been inviting them to her annual client appreciation events. As she says, what does it matter? It just costs me an extra stamp to just do this. All right. And I say this all the time. Devin says it too. In your email list of prospects, there is revenue waiting in there to surface itself. The question is, how and what will you do to surface it? And as Kelly says, a lot of advisors aren't understanding what is happening on the other end because they're not seeing direct feedback, and they give up. And she thinks they give up right about the time and they're really the people you've targeted are actually primed to take action. So that is our drip marketing success story for today. And again, I love it because A, she's doing drip marketing. B, she picked a great topic, the Secure Act that's in the news. It's big. You have this whole year, next couple of years, frankly, but it's like, get on it now before everybody else does. People want to know what the new retirement rules are, and the Secure Act 2.0 really lays out a bunch of stuff, and we've got all the information there for you on the Savvy IRA planning. And she chose to do a webinar. I think everybody needs to be doing webinars. They're relatively easy to do. There's a lot less trouble than doing things live and in person. But let me say, I still think you should be doing live. If you're in a business building mode, you should still be doing live and in person as well. But she was doing a webinar as well. So, I just think everybody ought to have that as part of their communication strategy. Both educating your clients and then bringing your prospects along. In essence, when you are inviting, if you're doing an educational webinar and you're mostly doing it for your clients, but you're sending it out to your whole email list, right? You're basically dripping on those people. You're showing up again in their inbox. Hey, I'm still here. Yes, I've got the latest and greatest on, whatever the topic is. And it's that kind of thing through education that builds credibility. Demonstrates your competence, something Chris Holloman talks about in his Discovery Lab workshop as well. And so there you go. That's our drip marketing story for today. Back to you, Devin.
Great. Yeah. And now that we've told that story, if you're sitting here wondering, how can I get started with the drip marketing campaign? If you are one of our master members or advisor client members, we of course have the marketing calendar, which we've spoken about at all of these meetings. And in that, we've essentially built you a drip marketing campaign for the year, right? We have chosen one article reprint each month around a theme for you to send out to your list. So if you took the time in January to set that up in your CRM, you already have a drip marketing campaign going. And if you haven't done that, you still have time to go and do that. It's something that we clearly recommend doing because, again, it gives you something to send out on a monthly basis and stay top of mind and continue to drip on your list. And of course, we also have kind of an entire library of article reprints around different topics. So if you want to create kind of these mini drip campaigns, maybe something like Kelly was doing with the quarterly ones that she's sending out via, the mail, which I love that idea. You could go into that article reprint library, pick a topic, and find plenty of article reprints to kind of fill those slots, whether you do it in the mail or email. There are so many great options. So that kind of leads us into part 2 of our meeting here, where we talk about the marketing activities that we recommend you do for the current month and the upcoming month, because again, these are all kind of drip marketing ideas. So our monthly marketing calendar is built around themes. Each month we pick a theme, and then we give you the content to kind of fill that theme via reprint, a drip piece, and then also educational content, a presentation for you to do like Kelly did with the Secure Act 2.0. So to get started, our theme for April is Social Security. So I do want to just show you the reprint that is chosen for this month, so you can get a sense. This is also our newly designed reprints if you haven't seen them already. But it's Social Security, the important questions. And this kind of just goes through common questions that clients and prospects might have about claiming Social Security, when they should do it, how they should do it. And it's written by Elaine Floyd. It's a great piece. We can scroll through here and see, how will your benefit be affected if you're working or you stop working, survivor benefit it touches on, divorce, spouse benefits, all of that. So it kind of goes over the highlights, the questions that people may have before they make a claiming decision. Of course, this has my information here, but when you personalize it, it would have your photo and your information and your logo here. So this is the reprint for April that we recommend sending out. And then to go along with that, we also have our main Social Security presentation that we recommend putting on for clients and prospects. And Sean, I believe you wanted to talk a little bit more about that presentation, so I'll throw it back to you.
All right, thanks. By the way, we had a question about the drip marketing from one of our live stream. Somebody who's with Cetera, and they wanted to know if compliance is approved. Are there Cetera articles that have been approved by their compliance for distribution? And the answer, of course, is yes. That's one of the major aspects and reasons that I believe Cetera has a program for their advisors where they get access to all those sorts of things. But yeah, so Social Security. I want to take just a minute to share with you in not presentation mode, just the presentation that's out there, because by the way, I don't know if you know it or not, but the software, our Savvy Social Security software, was recognized in the latest T3 Inside Information Survey as I think the best software, best Social Security software, best ease of use. And so you'll see here in a second as I run through these slides very quickly, because I'm not sure that all of you have seen or familiar with our presentation, but the software figures into it at some point. But it opens up with with this little brain teaser that isn't answered until much later in the presentation. So this is what we call a cold open, so to speak. You come on and you ask the audience, in life, would you rather be early or delayed? And in life, would you rather pay a penalty or get a bonus? And then you mentioned to the audience that we're going to be answering this question as we go through the presentation, and then you start on with the presentation. And there are our presentations normally are built around a problem. This is a clear articulation of the problem, and that is people are hurting their retirements by making terrible, costly decisions about Social Security, uninformed ones. Then you talk about some things that you're going to make available to them at the presentation or afterwards, including an analysis. That's with the software, right? Your customized Social Security spousal planning analysis is the one you see there, but there are other ones. And so, I'm obviously not going to give you the whole presentation here. I'm just flipping through it here to point out a few things, show you some of the things that it answers, like, will Social Security be there for me? The answer is yes. Then get into that question a little bit. Then it moves on, says, well, what's a clearer way to think about Social Security? And then you get to the presentation's first insight, right? And because a lot of people don't think about Social Security this way, but it says Social Security is an inflation-protected income. You've paid the premium in every paycheck, and so be smart about how and when to collect it. And then we go through and kind of show people different claiming strategies and how it is all calculated by the Social Security. We start to get into explaining the formulas, and then naturally the question comes up, this whole thing about claiming early at 62 or claiming late at 70. And we go into a bunch of that. We get to the second insight: your monthly benefit will be reduced if you claim early. And it also may be reduced by taxes and Medicare premiums. That's just, by the way, that's something people who claim at 62 tend to overlook. And that is that a much higher percentage of their benefit going forward, for their premium for Medicare, a much higher percentage will be deducted when they apply it to age 62 benefit versus an age 70 benefit, for instance, right? Anyway, there's this whole thing about when to apply for benefits. We step through the whole difference between the full retirement age and how much you get if you claim early, how much you get at full retirement, and how much you get if you delay the benefits. And these are all very powerful charts, and the script, was able to pull out, the information about, the relative benefits of collecting those delayed credits if one person in the couple, at least if it's a couple, can enjoy and benefit from by delaying. It addresses the taxation of benefits. That's something people are always very confused about. And so we go through a little explanation about that. Then we get to insight 3. For couples, you should always maximize the higher earner's benefit to protect the surviving spouse. And then we explain, why that's so important. And the whole thing about maximizing, the spousal benefit strategies and how to maximize them and what the hybrid strategy is. Then you're talking here in the middle of the presentation about how, hey, we can, we have this software, and this software, we can punch in your numbers and your spouse's numbers, or just your numbers if you're single, and we can run these analyses that kind of shows you, the different advantages or disadvantages to claiming at different points in time. Then we ask, well, I'm already widowed or divorced, so how does that impact my Social Security benefits? And then we get to the 4th insight. If you're widowed or divorced, you may be eligible for survivor benefits, divorce survivor benefits, or divorced spouse benefits that can increase your monthly check. We got a great anecdote in here that tells about the power of that sort of thing. It's something that many, many people overlook, including people who were married for 10 years or more, but a long, long time ago, and they sometimes forget in a way that, or they don't realize that, depending upon their own benefit, they could still draw a benefit from that ex-spouse. And so we kind of go through all of that, the survivor benefits, the divorced spouse benefits. Yeah, right. Then people say, gee, this is more complicated than I realized, and it is. I remember when we first got into this a few years back, an advisor telling me that, no matter what he did with this particular client, the client was just absolutely compelled to claim at 62, even though he didn't need to. And the answer to why he needed to claim at 62 was that the other guys at the tavern have insisted to him that Social Security is going to go broke and that he must claim at 62. Crazy, right? And then toward the end of the presentation here, we get back to that brain teaser at the very beginning. Remember, we asked the question, in life, would you rather be early or delayed, or pay a penalty or pay a bonus? And there's a very interesting ending to this, because we kind of lay out that really this has been framed up terribly, and that we really recommend advisors not use the early and delayed framing, but instead you should be using a framing where there is a penalty phase and there's a bonus phase, right? So the penalty phase is age 62 to full retirement age, right? And the bonus phase is from full retirement age to age 70. And if you frame it up that way, people are going to be more interested in getting a bonus, right? But this old frame of early or delayed, well, of course, everybody wants to be early. I don't want to be delayed. And of course, when it comes to penalty or bonus, well, everybody wants the bonus, right? So that's just a little brain teaser that actually really cuts to the bone on some people's general analysis of how they should be claiming Social Security. So at the end of our presentations, we always restate the problem. We mention the 4 key insights that we covered, and then we come up with the solution. The solution is, hey, everybody needs a personalized Social Security analysis, because Social Security is this part of your retirement income plan, and there are a lot of other things that are involved as well. The Social Security office can't really do this for you. If you have questions, we're here to help. It's too important for guesswork. So come on in and get your own customized analysis. And that's how the presentation ends there. So I just wanted to fly through that quickly to show it to you all. But there's other resources that we also have, including when you're making this presentation, whether you're making it live or in as a webinar, we have these 2 pages of notes. And it's really good to give the notes because you mention at the outset of your presentation that, hey, we have the notes here for you. I really all want you to sort of relax and take this all in, and you don't have to be caught up with, writing down every last little thing I say. We've got all the highlights for you here. And of course, these things are customized. You see my picture there, but that would be your picture and your photo and logo and all that sort of stuff. So there's that as well. And then additionally, I just wanted to show you some marketing material. So this is a postcard, right? And this postcard performs extremely well as long as you leave all these bullets in. We had an advisor contact us one year, and he said, I sent that postcard out and I didn't get anybody to come to my presentation. And I said, really? I can't imagine that, because I know that it's very good. It's gotten great results over the years. Send me your postcard. And so he sent me the postcard. Well, his designer had decided, that it'd be much better to have a picture that was 3 times the size, and let's cut almost all of these bullet points. Well, these bullet points are very, very powerful marketing messages. That's when people throw their eyes over these bullet points, that's what's landing in their head and making them realize, hey, yes, right, I've been wanting to go to one of these presentations. So anyway, it's a powerful postcard, and don't give it to a designer and have them destroy its power because they think it needs a bigger picture. Designers are great at making things look pretty, but the decisions they make, they don't understand anything about usability or what the real goal is, right? So they just design it to make it pretty. They never think about, oh, well, is there enough information here to actually have the person who's looking at it make an informed decision? So just watch out for that. But anyway, the postcards there, that's something else you can use. And let me see, is there anything else? Well, also, there is, just so you know, a version of this Social Security presentation that you can make to CPAs, attorneys, and other professionals. And it covers a lot of the same kind of information, but in a different format. This is you can give CPE credits to CPAs who come to that presentation. So that's just another aspect. Kelly, the woman I was discussing before, who's doing the drip marketing, is actually going to be doing she's following our marketing plan. So she's going to be making the Social Security presentation this month or next month. And then in June, she's going to be making this presentation to local CPAs in her area that she has been cultivating. And then there's one other thing that I wanted to show you. When you do that for CPAs, we have this CPE credits guide. This is something that Devin Kropp has pulled together over the years, and it just steps you and your team through all the little, dotting your I's and crossing your T's kinds of things that you need to do so that you can award properly these CPAs with the CPE credit. So, I just wanted to expose you guys to what's in there, whether you're an advisor client member who also owns Savvy Social Security, or whether you're a master member who owns everything that's there for you. So Devin, back to you.
Thanks. And I also do want to mention too that we are officially approved by this CPE board for in-person workshops for you to grant credit, and also webinars. So you can do either format to connect with your CPAs. But I just wanted to make sure that everyone knows we were approved for both. That was a recent development that the official approval has come through. We were kind of grandfathered in under this pandemic thing, but now we have official approval. So you can do it either way to connect with your CPAs. And then, once we've just gone through our marketing activities for April, we also like to quickly look ahead for the month ahead so you can get planning on that. So I'm going to show you the article reprint for May, which is all about retirement planning is the theme. So this is the reprint, a workable solution for baby boomers near retirement. And it's written by Elaine Floyd, and it goes into, one strategy of making sure that you have enough saved for retirement, which is continuing to work a little bit longer. And so it goes through kind of the pros and cons of that and how, your clients can achieve that. Again, it's a really well-written piece. talking about the different options that, people have when continuing to work or even going back to work part-time in retirement. So you can see here it goes through the benefits of doing that. Again, it will be, personalized with your information as well. And is available for you to send out via PDF, or if you want to order hard copies, you can do that as well. And then the presentation for our master members for the month of May is our Savvy IRA Planning presentation, which has been updated to reflect a new Secure Act 2.0 changes. So it's really current and up to date, and people have questions on that topic for sure. So that is the presentation for May as well, looking ahead to next month.
All right. Good. Many questions out there? And time to move to part 3, Devin.
Okay, so part 3, if we don't have any questions from